I was born in Glasgow and I lived there till I was just about 4. My mum and dad emigrated from West Donegal in the early 1960s, and they had to leave and left in the hope of a better future. We came home at a time when my uncle was very sick and passed away shortly after that, and when we were home during the summer holidays, my granny asked my dad to stay, so we stayed. Mum and dad had a huge influence on my life. My dad passed away over 7 years ago. And they were just ordinary people, hard-working people working in the community trying to raise their family. But to me, they were and are my inspiration and my heroes. My dad worked as a labourer on the building sites in Glasgow and here in West Donegal as well, and was an avid GA man. He was very, very proud of winning the county championship with Gweedore back in 1961, and it's something he reminded myself and all of the rest of the clan very often. My mum worked very hard all her life, and have strong memories of her work in different jobs just to keep the family going. I believe that it's your own experience and your family's experience that shape you. Coming from a family who had to immigrate, who couldn't find work in their own community where they grew up, and had to go to a place where they couldn't speak their first language, and then returning home and having to struggle. A family of 6 surviving on a low income is very difficult, and particularly when we were living in very unsuitable rental accommodation. We were on a council waiting list for well over a decade, and in the end my mum took things into her own hands. I remember seeing her getting up early in the morning, going down to the local hotel to clean the rooms and prepare them for the guests, and then the evening she'd be in the local cafe cleaning that out, getting it ready for the morning, and then at night back at home she'd be sitting on the chair knitting jumpers, ironing sweaters for sale. And in the end there was just enough to build a small home for mum and dad and the rest of the family. I was always very politically aware and was very inspired as a teenager by the writings of Bobby Sands. As I became older, I started to think why some people like my mum, like my dad, and others around us had to struggle while others are looked after and protected. I'm very lucky to be married to Roisin, and we have 4 great boys, Padraig, Colm, Ronan and Micheálán. They're all very different, they all have their own individual personalities and quirks. Padraig's into politics and history, and indeed he's helping me out in this campaign. Colm, he's mad about football, he plays for Finn Harps in the National League, and it's a very busy family and it's great crack. Roisin is a qualified nurse, but left nursing and trained to become a primary school teacher, and is working in a local Gaeltacht school. Our home in Gweedore and Donegal is everything to me. And that part of our country is fantastic. It has the richness of our culture, our language, the crack. It's got unspoilt beauty, the sea, the mountains, the islands. It's to me unlike anywhere else, and it's a place I could never leave. You know, when I'm coming home from Dublin after a long week in the Dáil, and when you're travelling through Glenveigh National Park and then you come to Dunlewy and you just see Dunlewy open up in front of you, Dunlewy Lake, the Poison Glen, the old chapel down in the valley, and the Errigal to your right, it just lifts your heart that you're coming home. And I spend a lot of the weekend dealing with issues in the constituency. And when people come to me, sometimes they're a stranger to me, sometimes I've never met them before. And I always try to identify them as a member of my family. So I kind of say to myself, what if that was my mum who was lying on a hospital trolley or waiting to be seen for an operation? Or if that was my sister who couldn't secure a roof over their head or were struggling just to get by? And it makes me very determined to deliver for them. One of the reasons that I want to be Finance Minister is I know that I can deliver real change for people. I know that even in one term of government, we could change society for the better. We could build the homes that are needed. We could make sure that we have a fairer system and stand up to the vested interests. Those who fear the change that Sinn Féin would bring, whether they are the banks, the vulture funds or the insurance industry. My overwhelming priority would be to deliver for ordinary families who haven't had their voices heard before in the corridors of power, but with Sinn Féin in government, they would have their voices heard. That's why I'm asking you to give me a chance to prove myself and then judge me on what I deliver. So come out on the 8th of February and vote Sinn Féin #1.